of the 90-90 strengthening of the pelvic floor as well as the TA or inner abdominal muscle. So once you've mastered that and you're able to do that without any bulging of your abdomen, then we're going to move on to being able to use obliques and the more superficial abdominal muscles on top of that. So again, the 90-90 is where you inhale, and then with your exhale, you're feeling that pelvic floor lift and that inner compression of your transverse abdominis. If you put your fingers in here, you feel that tensioning under your fingers. If I lift up my shirt here, what you don't want is that outward compression or bulging where I feel it really push out into my fingers versus just a light tensioning. Okay, so now on top of that, I'm going to support my head and my neck with one hand, and I'm going to think about lengthening my neck here. So I'm not just crunching up on my neck, but I'm going to lengthen, and I'm going to come up with my exhale. You don't need to come up very far. Again, it doesn't look like this. So it's just your head is long, and you're coming up and feeling the top of your shoulder blades come up, and you're feeling what's happening down here. And as you inhale, you come down, and then exhale up, feeling what's happening. Now, again, what most people do when they do this kind of little crunch kind of action is they do this, and then the abdomen bulges. So you see the difference between that and that. Pelvic floor comes up, and the transverse abdominis pulls tensions that way. Okay, so now I could also do this as a oblique where I'm coming up and across. Okay, inhale down and up and across. Now the other thing to be paying attention to here is what's happening with the rib cage. So when you inhale, that rib cage opens. You've learned how to do that by now. And now as you're exhaling and pulling in the obliques, the rib cage comes together. But counteracting that is the transverse abdominis down here. So you should feel like your rib cage is coming down, but you don't want it to come down and then push down toward your pelvic floor, which is what can happen with leaks or prolapse or other things like that. So we want the rib cage to come together as the abdominals and pelvic floor come up to meet that pressure. So this is just a matter of practicing, learning what that feels like. And so you can play with that here. You can certainly use the squeeze if you'd like. You don't have to. But you're trying to get all of those components working together, teaching your abdominal muscles what to do with your pelvic floor without that bulging happening or bearing down on things down here. Now, it's really natural that that will happen. But the important thing is that you're learning what does that feel like when you do that so that you can start to pick up on it during other more upright activities throughout your day. So just play with that. You can certainly strengthen those obliques now once you have that underlying feeling of that abdominal canister and what it's supposed to be doing. And on top of that, you can start to layer those superficial abdominal muscles. But it's really common that those superficial ones want to take over and just start doing their thing without that underlying support. So you want to build up from the inside out.